Hello everyone, and today I'm going to build a mock of Howzer's speech in 1 minute, 10 minutes, and 1 hour. This is one of our favorite scenes from the Bad Batch TV show, and we wanted to build it out of Lego. So we thought this would be a fun and unique way to recreate this scene. We got the idea for this mock challenge from Ethan the Artisan, who has done a few of them, so make sure to check out his channel, which will be linked in the description below. Here we have all the minifigures we're going to be using for these mocks, but for the first 1 minute mock, we won't be using any of these. Instead, we will be using a base plate to recreate the scene, making it in micro scale. So let's jump right in. Another thing to add is that I will be using this phone as a timer to keep track of how long I am taking to build the mocks, but you can check out the timer, which will be in the top corner. So now I have finished my micro scale version of Howzer's speech. As you can see here, this little dot is Howzer. This arch is the whole doorway he stands in. And then these are the clones and the other troopers that go with crosshair. And then below, there's some transparent pieces which represent the lights, which are underneath the door in the film. And then behind is the hangar, or whatever it is that the door leads into. So I think this turned out reasonably well for 1 minute. Let's get on to the next one. For the 10-minute mock, I'll be using this big green base plate. It will not be as detailed as the 1 hour mock because I will try and do it as quick as possible rather than taking my time and doing details. So for the minifigures, I will be using Death Troopers for Crosshair's companions. And this is Crosshair. I don't think I'll be using him because he's not in this part of the scene. And I have our decaled Howzer and 5 decaled grunts we have here. We will be doing a video on our first time ever decaling and where we decal these figures. It should be out within a couple weeks, but we just want to do a few more figures before we release it. Also, if you want to buy some decals from Jonak Toys, make sure to use code S3S for 5% off your order. Let's get on to the build. Now I have finished my 10-minute mock. It's a lot less time than you think when you're building it. So I built up this arch. I built the little platform under here, which has the lights underneath the base. I also built the stripes which go down up to the door, and I put down all my plain Phase 1 grunts with their shields that we used in our 10 ways to improve your clone army video, so make sure to check that out in the description below. I also put our Death Troopers, one with a flamethrower and one without. This is definitely a much simpler mock than I was hoping for, and hopefully our hour mock will be way better. Now onto the 1 hour mock. This mock will be using the same figures as that 10-minute mock, but it should be a lot more detailed because we have a lot more time to build it. I will be using a few parts from the 10-minute mock for this mock because I probably don't have enough plates and bricks and things like that, and that'll just make it a bit easier to make sure I have all the parts. But this mock, what I want to do differently is I want to create the steps in front of the door that Howzer stands in, and I want to tile the whole thing off so it looks really nice and smooth. I also want to make the door much more detailed. So let's get into the build. So now I have finally finished my 1-hour mock of Howzer's speech. This is a much more detailed mock than my other mocks. It is all tiled off, so it looks really smooth. The arch is using this really cool technique, which we did in our LEGO Techniques level 1 to 100 video, which will be linked in the description if you want to check it out. As you can see here, it creates a wall just using studs and 1x2 plates that is bendy, and it works really well. So I used that to create the arch in a nice smooth fashion. Then I just built up a wall around it. At the back of the mock, I also used some modified tiles to hold the arch in place, which works well. Next to the arch, I also have the lights and the little lines. Below the arch, there are steps as well as lights which lead up to the hangar. There's also some dark gray lines that lead up to the platform. Standing behind are all of our figures. We got all of our decaled Phase 2 grunts as well as our death troopers, which are Crosshair's companions. They have shields as well. And of course, up front, we have our decaled Howzer. Also, all the figures are connected to the ground by a stud, which is built into the tiles so that they are all positioned correctly. This way, it can move the mock around and nothing falls. I think it turned out quite well. Definitely better than the other Howzer mocks I built in this video, with some interesting techniques and lots of tiles. So that was building Howzer's speech in 1 minute, 10 minutes, and 1 hour. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe with the notification bell on, and comment what other scenes we should build in 1 minute, 10 minutes, and 1 hour. So me and my brothers, thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time on Sanders 3 Studios. Bye!